terrific trade deadline Tuesday in the National Football League here on You Better You Bet. And we begin with a pair of blockbuster trades engineered earlier by the New York Jets. By the way, just as an aside, the NFL can't let anybody else have anything. You know, trade deadline used to be the NBA's thing. Baseball's got a good trade deadline. Hell, even hockey's got a trade deadline that hockey fans get excited about. The NFL trade deadline when I was growing up, hell, even like 5-10 years ago, used to be nothing. You used to get nothing at the NFL trade deadline, like a 7th-round conditional pick for some scrub jabroni wide receiver. Now, we get absolute blockbusters at the NFL trade deadline. The NFL couldn't even let the NBA and baseball and hockey have the best trade deadline. Now the NFL's got the best trade deadline and the one that fans look forward to the most. Just wait until we find out that Roger Goodell was actually conceived, not of man and woman, but immaculately. And his birthday's actually December 25th, as the war on Christmas by the NFL continues. The NFL can't let anybody have anything. And I guess if I were them, I would feel exactly the same way. The New York Jets swinging two incredible trades earlier this afternoon. Cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round picks and wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. And defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2nd-round pick in 26, a 1st-round pick in 27, and failed former first-round Cowboys first-round defensive tackle Mazi Smith. I get the idea of like buying low on Mazi Smith. This one might actually be like, I don't know if you can rescue Mazi Smith, but that is a story for another time. It has been a terrible, brutal, no good first season in Florham Park for head coach Aaron Glenn, general manager Darren Muji, and the New York Jets. Miserable first half of the season. Finally getting off the schneid last week, and all it took was a Cincinnati Bengals defense that might be the worst in the history of the NFL, and we have come and gone past the trade deadline. It looks like the Bengals have kept Trey Hendrickson, which begs an obvious follow-up question. Why? Why did they keep Trey Hendrickson? What's the point, Cincinnati? So the Jets finally get off the schneid. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals, but let's not mistake it. Let's call a spade a spade. This is a truly terrible and truly dreadful football team that is in the midst of a major, major rebuild. And today is a great day for the organization. Today represents what could be the first day in the rest of the lives of the New York Jets. What a couple of hours it has been for the New York Jets organization. Reloading with first-round picks and second-round picks. They do trade away a couple good young players, good defensive players, in order to make it happen. But I will quote the late, great George Young, former general manager of the New York Football Giants, who was embroiled in a contract dispute with star linebacker Bradley Van Pelt in the 1980s when the Giants were terrible, before Bill Parcells got the ship turned around and won a couple Super Bowl championships and had the Giants in perennial contention. Brad Van Pelt wants a new contract. George Young doesn't want to give him one. And George Young famously says to Brad Van Pelt in his representation, and I'm paraphrasing here, "We stunk with you. We can stink without you." And that's what I would say to Sauce Gardner and to Quinnen Williams. The New York Jets, terrible with both of them. If they're going to lose with them, you might as well lose without them and get all the extra draft picks. And it's not like this defense was setting the world on fire for the New York Jets. Absolutely shredded the entire season. It is a terrible defense for the Jets. And yes, it will continue to be terrible post-Sauce and post-Quinnen, but it was bad with them. So it can certainly be bad without them. I think this is an awesome, awesome day for the New York Jets as they look to build this now from the ground up. And think about what happens now if you're the New York Jets, where the quarterbacks on your roster are Justin Fields, who can't play. And we credited Justin Fields last week for the win against Cincinnati. You feel good about him as a human being. He gets off the mat. He gets the win. He is no franchise quarterback. And if he is a franchise quarterback, we're talking like the Toronto Argonauts. Or like whatever the best XFL, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Like, it's not an NFL team for Justin Fields. And Tyrod Taylor, who's close to my age. The quarterback of the future for the New York Jets is not on this roster. And now, with the cupboard stacked with draft picks, 2 first-rounders in 26, 3 first-rounders in 27, 2 second-rounders in 26, the Jets now have the ammunition. They may just get the number 1 overall pick organically, and the betting market shifted for their game against Cleveland. They're now dogs to Cleveland this weekend, to which I say, good. If you're the Jets, you want to lose this game to the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland also has 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, courtesy of the Travis Hunter deal for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll get to them and their harebrained asinine trade for Jacoby Myers coming up later this hour. But the Jets have to compete with the Browns in terms of ammunition to go up and get a quarterback. And I'll throw this out there as well. The Los Angeles Rams have 2 first-round picks coming up in this year's NFL draft. They have their own and the Atlanta Falcons in the James Pierce deal. Matthew Stafford flirts with retirement every offseason. His back is screwed up, and it's gone great so far this year, and maybe he's healthy the whole year. They could win the Super Bowl. It's certainly possible. Do you want to count out the Rams as being a quarterback team coming up in April? As they look for a successor to Matthew Stafford? Do you really think it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo? Or Stetson Bennett? Like, come on. Come on, everybody. This is the Jets acquiring the necessary resources to be able to go get the quarterback that they want. This is a great day for the New York Jets organization. And let's just be clear about Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. And we'll get to the Colts part of this. We will get to the Dallas Cowboys part of this. These are good players. Good players. Sauce Gardner is not Darrelle Revis. He's not Deion Sanders. He's not Patrick Surtain Jr. Like, he's not these guys. He isn't. Quinnen Williams is a really good player. He's not Aaron Donald. He's not Jalen Carter. He's not Chris Jones. Chris Jones. It's not like the Jets are trading like future gold jacket players here. Good players, maybe even very good players, not great players. And I'll take it a step further as far as Sauce Gardner is concerned. I think Sauce Gardner is a good corner, had a great rookie year, and has kind of been living off of that for the balance of his career. This is like what if Jamel Dean went by Flash instead of Jamel? Flash Dean. Would you think he's better all of a sudden because he went by Flat? Like, if Sauce Gardner went by Ahmad Gardner, do you think he's as good as he is? Like, come on. This idea that Sauce Gardner is like this shutdown, lockdown cornerback, this stuff comes from the same people that tell you that Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Like, the stats are already out there on social media. It's like, well, actually, let me tell you why Sauce Gardner is the best cornerback in the league. Like, well, it's like the throw percentage in tight wind. Like, it's like these made-up statistics. I'll tell you what. Here's what you should do. Talk to any diehard Jets fan and ask that Jets fan, do you think Sauce Gardner is one of the best cornerbacks in the league? And see what the Jets fan says. There is not one Jets fan worth his or her salt that loves his or her team that is going to tell you that Sauce Gardner is half as good as Darrelle Revis. And you would think, based on the compensation for this trade and the way that some people are talking about this, and I don't even necessarily hate it from the Colts' perspective, TBA for them, that this is like that they have traded for Darrell Green. Let's all get a grip. Like, watch the games. Look at what this defense was. Like, do Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner look like impactful players to you when you watch the Jets defense play? And they're getting absolutely shredded by everybody. And we're going to do this deal here, this song and dance. Sauce Gardner, but when you throw into tight windows, Sauce Gardner prevents the catch from being made. How many games is he changing? Come on. Quinnen Williams. Like, how many Quinnen Williams highlights have you seen? And you want to say, oh, well, the defense around the players around him stink. The team's not very good. I mean, come on, everybody. Like, the Browns stink. You're constantly seeing Myles Garrett highlights. The Panthers are 5-4, but no one thinks they're world beaters. You see J.C. Horn highlights constantly. The Raiders have never been good while Max Crosby's been there. You constantly see Max Crosby impacting and affecting games. Meanwhile, here's two guys in Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams that the media would have you believe, that people would have you believe that the Jets have just traded Aaron Donald and Darrelle Revis. Oh my God, how could they do this? How could you trade these guys? Think about the George Young quote. We stunk with you. We can stink without you. The arms race coming up for quarterbacks in next year's draft is going to be significant. LA, the Rams with 2 first-rounders. The Browns with 2 first-rounders. The Jets with 2 first-rounders this year and 3 in 2027. We are about to see a race to the bottom this season. And the Jets have now positioned themselves as the team of teams to be able to pick their quarterback of choice over the next couple seasons. We're going to spend at least 60 seconds here, if you'll humor me, talking about A.D. Mitchell. If you've listened to the show for any period of time, this offseason, last year, you know that I'm a huge fan of new New York Jets wide receiver, A.D. Mitchell. 2nd-round pick last year out of Texas by the Indianapolis Colts, who tore up training camp both years in Indianapolis, but kind of like doesn't have his head screwed on straight. And his most famous NFL play is a really bad one. Colts at the Rams earlier this season. He has looks like T. Higgins catching the ball on like the back of a defender, splits 2 defenders for a 75-yard touchdown, and drops the ball at the 1-yard line out of the end zone for a touchback instead of a touchdown. And from that point forward, Shane Steichen's basically like, you're not playing anymore. And we've barely seen him since. Been in the Shane Steichen doghouse since then. He is a throw-in in this deal. 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, and A.D. Mitchell as well goes to the Jets. It's possible that A.D. Mitchell will never get his act together, that he'll never be like a serious person, a serious football player, and maybe it'll just never go well. But this is the type of gamble that you absolutely have to take when your 53-man roster has 0 talent on it, or very little talent on it. And we said coming into the year, one of the reasons why we thought the Jets were going to be one of the worst teams in football, not just because the quarterback can't throw the ball, although that's the primary reason, as you might imagine. It's because outside of Garrett Wilson, they have no one that can catch the ball. In what universe, this or otherwise, or like the Marvel multiverse, where like Kang the Conqueror rules Earth, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom and Iron Man, in what multiverse Is Josh Reynolds a number 2 receiver in the NFL in the year of our Lord 2025? How's that possible? It's not. A.D. Mitchell, just in terms of raw talent and ability, is easily the second best pass catcher now on the Jets behind Garrett Wilson. And just to say this, like I'm crediting the Jets here for trading Sauce and for trading Quinnen Williams, I would have bashed the hell out of them if they had traded Garrett Wilson. You have to keep Garrett Wilson. It's like the one player on offense that you can bank on. And I don't want to, and we'll get to Breece Hall in a second. Keeping Garrett Wilson, absolutely the right move. And now, if you can coach up A.D. Mitchell and keep his head on straight, that is an actual legitimate 1-2 punch at receiver with Garrett Wilson at 1 and A.D. Mitchell at 2. And I acknowledge it might never happen for A.D. Mitchell. Maybe the light bulb never turns on. But again, this is the type of gamble you take when you're in the beginnings of a full-scale monster rebuild like the Jets are. A very, very worthy swing of the bat. A very, very worthy roll of the dice to bring A.D. Mitchell to Florham Park. And just on Breece Hall, who the Jets keep, right? And it was very funny that, and I don't mean this as an insult at all. Like Diana Rossini from The Athletic and others are tweeting, the Jets are seeking a 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall. Like, where do you all think like that's coming from? Like, this is the Jets, and I would do the same thing if I were them. And if I were Rossini or an insider, I would do the same thing they're doing. It's not a criticism at all. But the Jets are negotiating through the media. Like, hey, NFL teams, this is the asking price for Breece Hall. In case you'd like to pick up the phone and make a call and take this running back off our hands. Breece Hall. I mean, I said on the show yesterday, Saturday night, Dodgers win the World Series. Our associate producer, Addie Bates, is crashing out. She's so upset that the Dodgers won. She is melting down in the chat. Breece Hall just crashed out on social media over the span of a couple hours. Here is Gen Z running back Breece Hall, 24 years old. Just after every Jets transaction, every tweet about the Jets, here's like, is it GIF or GIF? I'm so goddamn old. Here's a meme from Breece Hall. Here's a tweet from Breece Hall. Breece Hall tweeting at the conclusion of the trade deadline, and I quote, "Sick about my brothers, man. Happy for them, but man, I'm sick, RN," which of course stands for right now. Like, I know this is difficult for like Breece Hall to comprehend. And honestly, like when I was 24, like I kind of felt this also. Like the world does not revolve around you. Like that's not how this goes. The Jets don't have to cater to your every whim. And to everyone in the media that's like, yo, X team needs to trade for Breece Hall. The Chiefs have got to trade for Breece Hall. The Texans have got to trade for Breece Hall. Insert team here needs to trade for Breece Hall. Guess what? The Jets had a fire sale today, and no one traded for Breece Hall. Didn't happen. I'm just like, I'm so good on the Breece Hall experience here. Like, it's not all about Breece Hall. Like, I'm so good on this, I can't even put it into words. Like, I may block him on Twitter, and I don't even care. Just saying, like, I'm good on this. I can live with that. The Breece Hall live tweeting of the Jets trade deadline. Just like, enough. Jets win total for the rest of the season at BetMGM, a robust 3.5. Are they winning 3 more games this season? Can I phrase the question differently? Do they want to win 3 more games this season? I think the answer to both questions, no. You're betting. You go on. This is a team that clearly wants to pick first overall in next year's draft and maybe in 2027 as well. And they should. Either Ohio State defensive player, any of the quarterbacks, whichever one that tickles their fancy. Where it's like, oh, well, the Jets always pick the wrong quarterback. Okay, great. So they should just never pick one because they've gotten it wrong in the past. Because Mark Sanchez didn't win a Super Bowl and Sam Darnold didn't win a Super Bowl. So now they should just never pick one ever again. And Ken O'Brien in 83, we can go down the list, Browning, Nagel, etc. So just because all those quarterbacks failed, like now you can never, ever pick one ever again. Like, stop it. Stop it. Chad Pennington, Kellen Clemens, come on. You got to take the swing. You take the swing until you get it right. That's how this goes. And the Jets have put themselves in position to make it happen. You bet on this Tuesday. Okay. Also, just Mozzie Smith's really bad. I'm not gonna do like that. Well, A.D. Mitchell could be their number 2. Why can't Mozzie Smith? No, he's just the Cowboys couldn't wait to trade him. The Cowboys would have probably traded Mozzie Smith. There are some great Italian delis in New York and New Jersey that make banger sandwiches. I think if Jerry Jones wanted he could have traded Mozzie Smith for on a nice seedless semolina roll, prosciutto, mozzarella, a little sun-dried tomatoes, some oil and vinegar. Oh yeah, for Mozzie Smith. I don't know if they can save him. Okay, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. I'm gonna start by criticizing the trade for Sauce Gardner, and then we're gonna be objective and say that we can't really know that it's a bad trade until the season plays out. And I think both things are true. Consider this. Before the NFL season, the Green Bay Packers traded 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons. Today, the Indianapolis Colts traded 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. Does that pass the smell test for anybody? And A.D. Mitchell. If you're trading 2 first-round picks for a non-quarterback, and we'll get to the Jaguars in a little bit and what they did today and the Travis Hunter debacle, because that's what it is right now with Jacksonville. If you're going to trade multiple first-round picks for a non-quarterback, it has to be a monster pass rusher like Micah Parsons or like Darrelle Revis. Sauce Gardner is neither of those 2 things. The Indianapolis Colts overpaid, right? Is there any question about it that the Colts overpaid? But that doesn't mean that it can't be a great trade for Indianapolis. And I mean that sincerely. Sauce Gardner, and I need to be fair here, I don't think he's Revis. I don't think he's Dion. I don't think he's Darrell Green. He's not Champ Bailey. I don't think he's any of these great corners. But it's worth noting, his rookie year, all-pro player. And he's an above-average corner. And at his best, he is one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. I think he's inconsistent. I think he doesn't make enough plays. But, he's one of the better corners in the NFL when he's healthy. And I can think that the Colts overpaid, but I can also acknowledge that they're going for it. And I don't hate it. Because when you think about the playoffs, and Indy, I think, is going to win the AFC South. It's all over but the shouting in the AFC South. They'll be able to run out in the postseason Sauce, Charvarius Ward, and Kenny Moore in the slot. 3 good corners. And again, Sauce doesn't have to be like Patrick Surtain Jr. in this regard. He doesn't have to be. He's a good cornerback, right? So is Ward. So is Moore. So, match up against the Chiefs. And this is not to say that I think the Colts would win. But again, just think about it, right? Here's Rashee Rice Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce. Like, you've got 3 corners that can match up. Kincaid, Shakir, Palmer, Coleman, whomever for the Buffalo Bills. Zay, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely for Baltimore. like the Patriots receivers. Like, the Indy's got a good group of corners now. And the fact that they're able to just trade a former second-round pick in his second year, who's got so much talent like A.D. Mitchell, willy-nilly like they did, it's not emblematic of a stupid organization. No. They are absolutely stacked at the position. And it's the emergence of Alec Pierce on the offensive side of the ball that I think makes it palatable for Indianapolis to move on from A.D. Mitchell. Where the Colts are a loaded roster. Loaded. We said in the offseason, all they need is a quarterback that can play pretty well and execute the Shane Steichen offense, and this team will be good. I didn't think it would happen with Daniel Jones. I was wrong, clearly. You 5 turnovers on Sunday against Pittsburgh by him solely, 6 total, notwithstanding. I didn't think it would happen with Daniel Jones. And I was wrong. I don't mind the Colts going for it here. And Chris Ballard taking a swing, Shane Steichen taking a swing, and Indy pushing all its chips into the middle here to make a Super Bowl run this year and next year. And by the way, this all but confirms, like, it almost doesn't even matter how the rest of the season goes. Daniel Jones is getting a new contract from the Colts. You don't trade 2 first-round picks if you feel like we don't have our quarterback. He's going to get a multi-year extension with Indianapolis, and Anthony Richardson will be on a different team next year.